All right, everyone. We've had a couple weeks off. Apologize for that. It's been kind of crazy for both of us. But let's talk about Week 7 in the NFL, getting into Week 8 here. Um, we could do a whole show on the Chicago Bears and how terrible they are, but we don't want to make each other very mad and not go to bed tonight. So we'll talk about other things and we'll get to the Bears last. So let's start off with the hustle play of the decade. I'm talking about DK Metcalf, i.e. who Jimmy's wearing right now, chasing Budda Baker down from about 93 yards away, or not 93 yards, about a 93-yard run that he caught him at about the 5 or 6 yard line. I mean, if there's ever a time to do the choo-choo sound, I mean, it's right now. That guy chugged him down like a train chasing a little kid. That aside, that was one of the best games I've ever seen. There was just good play all around. I think Arizona's a real good contender. What do you think, Jimmy? You think they're going to be a good contender against Seattle this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's with whatever the Niners are doing, they're pretty much by the wayside. So, yeah, I mean, the Cardinals we had talked about, beginning of the year, Kyler maybe being a like a dark horse MVP candidate, kind of fell off a little bit, and then exploded in that game versus Seattle. I mean, we all know Seattle's defense isn't the best. They're probably maybe a step above the Cowboys, which is that's a whole nother thing
Yeah,
altogether.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they're stacked everywhere. I mean, Budda Baker, I wanted him when he came out for the Bears. Obviously, that didn't work out. He's basically the de facto honey badger of that defense. They let Matthew go, and he pretty much just stepped right in. I mean, they have weapons everywhere. I mean, when Fitz is maybe your second or third option, that's a pretty good offense. If they can just figure out what they're doing with Drake, I mean, now he's got that ankle injury, so now it's um, the Chase Edmonds show. They can figure that out. I mean, sky's the limit.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, watching Kyler Murray throw the ball, for being a small guy, he can sling that ball, man. He can really throw it. And I will say that the wide receivers, Christian Kirk, thank God he saved my butt in fantasy football. But DeAndre Hopkins, that corner touchdown catch he had where it was like he caught it and had like a step to get it over the end zone and he had two toes in bounds. I mean, they're going to be a good team. If not this year, next year they're going to be real good, especially if they do anything in free agency or anything, or do make any more great trades with the Texans to get all their good players. One other thing, DK Metcalf was equivalent to it, and Jimmy pointed this out to me, the T-1000 chasing down John Connor in Terminator 2. I'm going to figure out a way to get that into this video somehow, whether it's music or something. So it's going to happen. You're not going to know what's going to happen, but all of a sudden you're just going to hear Terminator music. So be ready for it. Um, I will say this, though. Cliff Kingsbury did his best to ice the kicker in that game. Did he not? It seemed like he did.
Yeah, I mean,
His own kicker.
luckily luckily they were able to come back and overcome it. But yeah, like you said, I mean, for as good of a game as they had, there were some missteps towards the end of the game that, like you said, a bit of a head scratcher. But I mean, I guess in the end, a win's a win.
Yeah, that's true. As long as you're winning, everyone's happy, right?
Just win,
So
baby.
just win. Baker Mayfield tossed 5 touchdown passes, none of them to OBJ because he blew out his knee in the game. He will be out for the rest of the year with a torn ACL, so that kind of leaves his future in Cleveland up in the air. But I guess it kind of proved, though, that he didn't need him because he still had 5 touchdown passes. He had 2 to Harrison Bryant, their tight end, filling in for Austin Hooper, who just had an appendectomy, had his appendix removed. 1 to Kareem Hunt. I think he had 1 in there to T. Higgins. And I don't know if he had Jarvis Landry in there as well, but I know he had 5 touchdown passes. So, I mean, would you say the Cleveland Browns are contenders or pretenders based on how they played without OBJ?
Yeah, I mean, so I guess before I answer that, I mean, I don't even know if it's a hot take anymore, but are they just better without him? I think 2 or maybe even 3 of Baker's best games have been without Beckham, whether it be injury or something like that. So I don't know if he just leans on looking for him, trying to get the ball in his hands. As soon as he's out, then he's spreading the ball around, and that offense just kind of opens up. I still don't think they're a contender, though. Um, I think they're more of a pretender than anything, because that the defense is still. I mean, they still not healthy in that secondary, and I still don't know if I can trust Baker. I mean, I guess we'll have to see going forward how he does without Beckham, but
Yeah.
I feel like that's maybe too much of a safety blanket, and it just kind of ends up choking them.
Well, we're also gonna have to see how he does when he plays a real, real good team. I mean, they played Pittsburgh and got their throats kicked in. Did you see that play that Denzel Ward made though? The slide to avoid the block and then made the tackle.
Yeah.
He straight up made a baseball slide to get underneath a block, which that guy would have pancake blocked him had he got it. So he was close to the ground, and he slid underneath it and just tackled the guy. It was pretty cool. It was actually a really cool play to watch. TB12 is rocking it in Tampa Bay. Maybe it's the nice weather down there or something. Maybe it's having Gronkowski back with him. He had 4 touchdown passes and 350 yards. Gronk got into the game and actually had a baby spike after he made his touchdown. Didn't quite do the Gronk spike that we're normally used to seeing. But it seems like, and Chris Godwin got hurt again. That guy just can't stay healthy. Broke his finger or something. Had to have surgery today, so he's questionable to play the next game. Mike Evans is banged up. Scotty Miller had a touchdown catch, but of course he wasn't on my fantasy team this week, so of course he did great. What do you think about Tampa Bay possibly being the real deal, and if they can get their offense healthy the whole time, possibly making a Super Bowl run? What do you think?
Yeah, so I actually just bet one of my friends that the Bucks will not be in the Super Bowl. I think that's more just me being a TB12 hater. I mean, I just read a stat. I know we talked heavily about the Buccaneers' rush defense last year. They're number one again. They're allowing 66 yards a game. Their pass defense, I don't have the stats, but it's a lot better. It's probably at least middle of the pack when before they were dead last year. I mean, I'm curious to see what Antonio Brown can do in that offense.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, so I don't know I mean, he didn't really cause too many problems when he was in New England, but then his off the field stuff kind of resurfaced again. So I'm just curious to see if, one, because he's in that offense. I mean, if Godwin is healthy, he's maybe the third or fourth option. So I'm curious to see if he's just happy to be back in the league and he's going to, kind of keep his head down and work, or if he's going to become a distraction if they start to lose a game, if he's not getting touches. Because, I mean, that was the whole downfall in Pittsburgh is Juju started getting more touches and he didn't like it.
Well, and I think Antonio Brown's going to have a little bite of humble pie when he comes back. After not playing since last year at the Patriots for one game, caught a touchdown, and then that was like rode off in the sunset, or not so much into the sunset, I guess, but into a rape allegation. But I think Tom Brady has a way of reining guys like him in, getting him on board, have him drink the Kool-Aid. Like, hey, if you want to win, you got to stay here, keep your head down, and keep your mouth shut. And Big Ben had a problem with that in Pittsburgh, where he would argue with Antonio Brown in the media. Like, he would have an argument with him through reporters, and then Antonio's mad at him, he's mad at him. So I think if you have that in Tampa Bay, where Tom does a good job not really ruffling any feathers, he calls it how he sees it, and he'll tell you right to your face if you're wrong. So maybe that's what Antonio needs. He needs a quarterback who's going to get in his face and tell him, hey, shut up, do your job, and we'll win. If that's at the end of the day, all Tom Brady cares about is winning. That is all he's ever cared about. He doesn't care how it happens. So as long as Antonio Brown is playing the way he wants him to play and catching passes, I could see him being like a touchdown hawk on the goal line, where they do like maybe after maybe a set first or second down, they have put 4 wideouts there and draw Godwin on one side, Evans on the other, and put Brown on one of the other sides with him and try to get him slide underneath the linebacker and make a catch. So probably put him in the slot a lot more than an outside guy. But it'll be interesting to see what he does there. The Washington football team beat the living snot out of the Dallas Cowboys, so much so that John Bostic, the clown, hit Andy Dalton in the head, and it was actually ejected from the game. But the more damning thing about this is none of the Cowboys players went after Bostic after he did it. Like, normally if something like that happens to a quarterback, the whole entire offensive line is crushing that person. Not one of them did it, and I don't know why. Maybe they don't have any faith in this team anymore. Maybe they don't care about Andy Dalton. What are your thoughts on it, Jimmy?
Yeah, I mean, I was watching some stuff on ESPN. They were basically saying the same kind of thing that we are. Like, I don't know how you don't. I mean, that's like an unwritten rule in football. Anytime anything dirty like that happens, I mean, a lot of times they're fighting over stuff that doesn't even matter. But your starting quarterback, whether it's the backup or not, he's your starting quarterback now, gets just smashed. I mean, he's rolling around on the ground with helmet off. obviously he has a concussion. Nobody even doesn't have to go in the tent. We all
Yeah.
seen it. And like you said, it was nothing. There was no pushing. There was nobody getting in anybody's face. I mean, and if you want to say, okay, well, we don't want to get a penalty, we'll just make him hurt on the field. They didn't do that either. So I mean, I don't know. Like you said, if they just don't care anymore, as soon as Dak went down, they realized one with the way that defense was playing that without Dak, it's a lost season, and now they're just trying to play for stats, play for their contract. But I mean, that's a huge no-no in football, especially in a locker room. And like I said, being that it's your starting quarterback, it's just unfathomable.
Yeah, and like you said, regardless if he's the original backup, he's your guy now. You have to protect him. They put a red beanie on all of them in practice, so you don't hit them. Any one of them. It doesn't matter if they're on the scout team or on the first team. They put a red thing on it that says "Don't hit" because they're the quarterback. And watching the play, John Bostic did look like he was kind of, I don't want to say upset, but he looked like he was kind of like regretful that it happened. Like, I don't think whether he thinks he did it on purpose or not is to be seen, but the way he looked afterwards, I think he felt bad about it. And maybe he said something on the field that we didn't hear. Maybe he said, "Sorry, I didn't mean to do that," or maybe, "Oh my God, I apologize," or maybe he said something like that. Who knows? I mean, he didn't get up and celebrate after he made the hit, so it's not like he was proud of it. Especially when Andy Dalton's helmet went flying off and he was rolling around like a rag doll. I mean, that red hair was just like on the ground, dragging around, making red paint everywhere. Justin Herbert is the real deal. I think we can agree that Tyrod Taylor is done playing done playing for the Chargers, at least for this year, possibly forever. So that's unfortunate that everywhere he seems to go, he seems to get hurt, and his backup or the rookie steps in, and next thing you know, it's their show. It happened in Cleveland with Baker. It's happened now in Los Angeles. Um, I really thought he put up a great show against me. He scored like 38 points or something like that in fantasy. Um, what do you think of the Chargers going forward with him if they can get some more pieces around him?
Yeah, so I mean, Tyrod is supposed to be a bridge quarterback. Basically, it's pretty much what he's been his whole career. But really, he's just like a rickety falling apart bridge because as soon as he gets any pressure, he gets hurt, and like you said, and then the next guy steps up, and then it's all right. Thank you. We don't even need you to hold the clipboard anymore. Just go on your way. Yeah, I mean, I think with Herbert, I mean, obviously it's going to depend on the stats. I think at the end of the year, but I'm curious if he's the new Rookie of the Year favorite.
I think he is after that game he just had where he had 300 and some passing yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, Joe Burrow's making a hell of a case too. We both thought CEH was going to take it away, no problem, but Joe Burrow had 400 yards passing and some touchdowns.
Yeah.
Herbert had 300 and some yards passing and 4 touchdowns. These guys are making it very hard, and especially Herbert coming in, as the backup essentially. It's been Burrow's show the whole time. He hasn't, missed the start. Herbert was then there the first 2 games. I think it was Tyrod, then it was him. So, or first game at least. So he came in legitimately as a backup and then took it over. So I think there's a good chance that he's going to, be pretty good in this league for a long time. But let's talk about our Bears now. So Monday Night Football, big stage, thinking Bears are 5-1. It's gonna be a good game. The 2001 West Aurora Blackhawks football team, me and Jimmy, uh, could have blocked better than the Bears did that game. That was awful. Their offensive line has a lot of problems, and Aaron Donald wasn't even tired halfway through that game because the defense was out there the entire game for the Bears. Matt Nagy's play calling. I mean, we could do a whole show on Matt Nagy's play calling. It's mind-boggling. What do you think about the lack of a run game and the lack of an offensive line, and what do they need to do to fix that?
I I
Everything.
don't know. Yeah, everything. I mean, yeah. So I mean, the problem with the O line is we knew going into the offseason last year, you have to do something with the O line. The tackles are mediocre at best, and for whatever reason, they were expecting Whitehair and Daniels to take a huge jump, which they haven't done, and now Daniels is hurt. Whitehair left the game with an injury, so they said it's not too serious, but I mean, I don't know if they're going to have to try and move him to guard and let that Sam Mustipher guy that played center go at center. I mean, but the right guard has been a problem since Kyle Long started getting injured. They haven't fixed it in the last 5 years. Um, the the play calling, like you said, just doesn't make any sense to me. So your O line is garbage anyway. So what do? Do you try to do any motions? Do you try to do, kick it outside to get the edge? No, let's try and run inside at Aaron Donald when you have garbage interior linemen and you have a running back that I'm just not a big fan of David Montgomery. I know that O line is garbage, so it's kind of hard to hold it against him. But I mean, he hasn't really shown me very much to show trading up for him in the third round. He was a dark horse rookie of the year candidate. Now it's really dark. I mean, the guy, like, he just can't. As much as we hated on Tariq Cohen and didn't think he fit this offense at all, I mean, he is the offense. I think a lot of the problems would be solved if he was healthy, because he can get the edge. You can put him over in the slot.
Yeah.
You can move him all around. And I mean, I know I talked to you off air about it, but I mean, give me the Taysom Hill sub package for Mitch. I mean, I don't understand why not. If he can't catch, he can't catch. That's fine. But you can bring Mitch in. He can run RPOs. He can run option. He could even do some play action because he is a quarterback still. Even if he's not very good, he's still a quarterback. And you don't have to. That way, you're not looking at sharing snaps with Foles or anything like that. You can move Foles out to a wide out where he's not going to do anything, and have Mitch run, like I said, RPOs, options, something. I mean, with his speed and the way that the O-line is playing, you can't have the statue of Nick Foles back there. If one thing, if you don't do that, he's going to get killed, and we're going to have Mitch back 100%.
Well, and what kills me, like you said, the whole, run some speed option or run some, motion plays or something, anything like that. Play action. They couldn't even run a play action play last night. I really, honestly, am trying to rack my brain if I even saw one. I mean, play action sets up the defense to think it's a run. That's the whole point of it. It's to make them think you're running it, and then you drop a pass in the middle over the linebackers. They couldn't do that. And what killed me was Matt Nagy was neutering Nick Foles on the field. We're watching it happen. He is legitimately neutering that quarterback. He gets into a rhythm. He starts going down the field. A good drive. He's making some plays. All of a sudden, Matt Nagy's like, nope, huddle it up. Stop what you're doing and huddle it up. I mean, at some point, and Nick Foles made a comment to Brian Griese, that he thought was off the record. It was on the record. Brian Griese brought it up. Those two are not on the same page. They may play kumbaya in the media. They are not on the same page. And the reason for it is because Matt Nagy should not be calling the plays anymore. He needs to give that over to Bill Lazor, who is the offensive coordinator. You hired him to call plays. So I really wonder what he even does. Like, what's Bill Lazor's job? The offensive coordinator is supposed to call plays. Does he draw up the plays? I don't even see a Denny's menu on that guy's hand half the time. So what is going on? This offense is clearly broken. I heard someone on the radio say today that the Bears defense is a 12-4 defense, and their offense is a 6-10 offense. So, I mean, or not even that, like a 2-14 offense. So, I mean, 3 points, not even a touchdown. 3 points is all they got. The special teams and defense scored everything for them last night, and you can't live like that. Not in this league. They're going to eat you alive. So, next week they have the Saints on Sunday or late afternoon, like 3:25 game. If Michael Thomas is playing, the Saints might win 45-5. I mean, who knows? That their defense is not going to stop Kamara. I'll tell you that much. They couldn't stop Malcolm Brown last night from scoring. Right. So, yeah, it's bad news, I think, all around for this team. I don't see them winning very many more games at all. Let's get to some other games here, though. The Steelers and Titans played a great game. Came all the way down to a Titans missed field goal. What did they do to stop Derrick Henry? I think I saw an article about this, but did you read that at all about T.J. Watt, what he said?
No, I didn't read that at all. I didn't see that.
So he took whatever J.J. did against them in Houston and basically mimicked that. Whatever that game plan was, they mimicked that, and that's how they kept Derrick Henry from running all over them all day.
What did Henry finish with?
I don't remember. I mean, he finished with decent numbers by his
right, yeah, I guess it's Henry.
It wasn't 200 yards like it was the game before, though, where, ran over everybody. But let's get to another game here with Cam Newton and the Patriots. That experiment seems like it might be over, mostly because I think he's still recovering from COVID. Whether or not he got really sick or not, he hasn't been the same since he went out with COVID. They benched him for Stidham. So what does that tell you? I don't know how much longer he's going to have there. Maybe this year and then he's gone. Um, but he acknowledged that he might lose his job this year, and he did lose his job in the middle of the game because they were getting pounded by the Broncos, right? They play the Broncos. Yeah,
Uh,
it was the Broncos.
yeah,
They won by all field goal game by McManus, 18-6
yeah,
or something like
something
that.
like that.
So
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, that whole Cam Newton thing, like it started out hot, and everyone said, "Hey, what the hell were the Bears thinking, not going after Cam Newton? How could they not do that? How could they not go after Andy Dalton?" And then now we see as the season progresses, it was all crap. Whether whether it's Foles, Dalton, or Cam, it doesn't really matter. I mean, with Cam, I think like once again, like I said, the president of the TB12 hater club. I mean, was it Brady? Because I mean, nothing's really changed for that offense. They were in love with Stidham. They got Cam, and yeah, I think Cam threw for like 100 yards and 3 picks. Like something's broken there. I know they only really have Edelman, but I mean, Tom Brady was throwing to Troy Brown and Kevin Falk and stuff like that. So it's not like they never had or that they had weapons before, but they were able to do something. That defense is still good, but similar to the Bears, if you're on the field all day, you're going to start giving up plays.
yeah, and that's the biggest issue again with the Bears. Is, getting back to the Bears for a second. I mean, their defense was so tired by the end of that game because they're out there. I mean, I didn't see the numbers on offense, but it had to have been Rams had the ball probably for at least of the whole game, probably 40 minutes. It seemed. I mean, it seemed like the Bears didn't have the ball very much because they're going 3-and-out or getting sacked constantly, or or turning the ball over, making bad interceptions. The interception on the goal line that Foles had that oh, I disappeared. Where'd I go? I'm still here somewhere. My camera
You're
went
lost in the ether.
lost in the ether of the camera here. Where'd it go? I can't come back. Oh well, I'll come back eventually. It usually does, maybe. Assuming my phone is still working. Oh, oh, come on. Oh, the app died on me. A little technical difficulty here, folks. Never mind. Oh, here we go. Here we go. There I am, back.
There you go. A
Back
little
again.
close. A little close.
Here we go. Sorry about that, everyone. Technical difficulties at the corner. Happens every now and then. Not too often. All right, well, let's get past all this crap and let's get to our predictions. So last week I was 2-2. I hit 2 of my regular picks and missed on my Cole Kmet 50-yard play by 5 yards. So I wasn't too happy about that. Jimmy went 1-3, and he missed on his Mooney call by 10 yards. So we both missed, and we are done betting on the Bears. It's official. The Bears are now done with us. We're not betting on them anymore. I'm not putting them in parlays or anything. It's strictly going to be other teams because I don't trust the Bears anymore as far as I can throw them, and I can't throw a full team anywhere. So let's get to the games. All right, Thursday Night Football, Atlanta versus Carolina. Carolina's minus 2.5. I'm taking Carolina on that one. Jimmy, what do you got?
Yeah, this is going to be my first pick. I'm also taking Carolina minus 2.5. I mean, they've been playing pretty good. They pushed the Saints pretty close last week. I think they're just a couple pieces short, but Teddy B's been playing pretty good.
Okay. Next game is New Orleans versus Chicago. New Orleans is -4, which I don't think that's not enough. I think it's going to be minus like 8 by the time we get there, really. But I'm taking New Orleans all the way. I can't trust the Bears anymore.
Right. I mean, I thought the Rams -6 was free money. Yeah, this New Orleans -4, I think that's really easy money.
Oh yeah. We have New England versus Buffalo. Buffalo is -3.5. Again, that doesn't seem like that's right. That seems way too close. But I'm not an odds maker. I'm going Buffalo on that one.
Yeah, I'm going Buffalo too. I mean, that offense struggled against the Jets. I mean, only put up 18 points, so maybe that's why. But yeah, I think Buffalo should win easily.
Tennessee versus Cincinnati. Tennessee is a -5.5. I'm going Tennessee on that one. I think they're going to roll Cincinnati because Cincinnati's run defense isn't very good.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a heavy dose of Henry.
Yeah. Las Vegas Raiders versus the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland is a -2.5. Again, another, Cleveland is a way better team, I think, than Las Vegas. So I'm surprised the line is this close, but I'm rolling with Cleveland on this one.
I am going to go with the Raiders. I think that defense is better than people think, even though they kind of got carved up by the Bucks. So I think they can shut down the, whatever Baker might come up with.
Okay. We've got Indianapolis versus Detroit. Indy is a -3. I think they're going to have a pretty good time beating them, so I'm going with Indianapolis on that one.
Yeah, this is my second pick, Indy -3. I mean, Detroit was able to, have a comeback win, but that was against the Falcons, so obviously that was going to happen. I don't think they're going to have that much opportunity versus the Colts.
Okay. We have Minnesota versus Green Bay. Green Bay is a -6.5. That is my first pick. I'm taking Green Bay at -6.5.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good pick. I mean, Minnesota's a dumpster fire, so we'll see what they do.
New York Jets versus Kansas City with the biggest line I've ever seen on a game. I don't know if I mean, maybe there was one other game, I think last year, where Kansas City was a 21-point favorite. Kansas City is a 19.5-point favorite in this game. That is almost enough for me to take the plus 19.5 for the Jets. Problem is, I don't think they're going to score a point, so I can't touch that game. I'm taking Kansas City.
Yeah, I was really surprised that you didn't pick that one.
So
But
close.
I think a couple years ago the Jags were like 21 or 24-point underdogs to the Patriots. But yeah, I had to double check. I thought that line was a mistype. But yeah, I still think KC, and I think KC has a chance to cover that.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Rams versus Miami. LA's given up 4 points on that. I'm rolling with the Rams. I think they're going to come into this game pretty hot after last week against the Bears. So I'm rolling with the Rams.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Rams. Something we didn't talk about in the rundown. This is going to be Tua's first game as starter. So, I mean, rookie, and then I'm sure he's going to get a heavy dose of Aaron Donald. So I think it's going to be Rams and runaway.
It's going to be, let's see what happens to that hip when I hit you the first time, buddy. All right, Pittsburgh versus Baltimore. Baltimore is a 3.5-point favorite. Kind of an interesting line in that game, considering Pittsburgh is the only team that's undefeated in the league right now. But I guess they're just banking on Lamar Jackson going crazy. I'm taking Pitt in the points in that game. I am actually thinking they're going to win outright, so I'm going Pittsburgh plus 3.5.
Yeah, I thought that would be a little closer line, but I mean, I guess they say home team gets 3 points, so maybe that's what they're thinking. But yeah, like you said, the lone undefeated team left, and you would think they would kind of be a favorite. So
The next game was the Chargers and the Broncos. The Chargers only getting 3 points on this. These lines are so weird this week. I mean, Herbert dropped 4 touchdowns on a team last week, and they're only getting 3 points. I mean, it must be because their defense didn't, hold very well. But I'm going with the Chargers on that all the way. Denver's, if there's a dumpster fire that could be thrown with snow on top of it, that's them. So,
yeah, I'm going to go Chargers also. I think Denver does have a decent defense with a pass rush, but yeah, I can see Herbert having another 3-4 touchdown game.
San Francisco versus Seattle. Seattle's a 3-point favorite, mostly because their defense can't stop anyone, but their offense is really good. I'm rolling with Seattle on that one.
Yeah, we got the jersey, we got the background. This is my third pick, Seattle -3. Basically, I'll probably take Seattle with the points for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Because that offense is just too high powered.
Yeah. We have Dallas versus Philadelphia. The battle for the hottest fire in the NFC East. Philadelphia is given 7.5 points. Honestly, I don't think that's enough. They're going to have Ben DiNucci.
Yeah, DiNucci season.
DiNucci. Ben DiNucci is their starting quarterback unless they make a trade for Mitch here soon. I'm rolling Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia would cover the points too. It's not my pick, but I think they would cover, so I'm going with Philadelphia.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking maybe Mitch for Gallup and a 2. I don't know, just on that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going Philly too. I just don't see Dallas doing anything.
Okay. And the last game is Tampa Bay versus the Giants. Tampa Bay, again, this is one of those weird lines where, Kansas City is giving 19.5 points, but Tampa Bay is only giving 10.5 to the Jets. The Jets are awful, the worst team in football. They're going to have the number 1 pick this year, 10.5-point favorite. So that's my number 3 pick. I'm going Tampa Bay -10.5.
Yeah, I think Tampa Bay, I mean, that 10.5, like you said, that's an odd line. I'm not sure. I thought it would be more, but maybe they know that Tom Brady's going to fall off a cliff.
Not going to happen. All right, so we're doing something different this week with our sleeper picks. We're picking the sleeper pick for the Thursday night football game because that usually is the worst game of the week to watch. So we're going with Atlanta versus Carolina. I'm going DJ Moore had a great week last week, so I'm going to go DJ Moore, 75 yards and at least 1 touchdown.
Yeah, so I'm going to go I've decided to pick the right one this week. So I'm going to go Robbie Anderson, 75 yards and 1 touchdown.
Okay. And if you're counting at home, Ben is currently leading by 1 point in the season standings. 1 point. I may not be winning overall, but I picked the right things at the right time and get the points. That's for the gambling side. Fantasy side, I suck, so I can't even brag about that. So we're doing our fantasy picks this week. Jimmy legitimately beat me, and I did the math. He beat me by 1.12 points this week without a second running back. I had a full team. He had picked Aaron Jones. We didn't even figure in what Jamal Williams did as his backup. We just said 0, and he still beat me. So, Jimmy, my hat's off to you. You know how to pick a team. So, this week I'm coming at you, though. I'm going to score 200 points. You watch. So, here's my team, guys. I'm going with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. I'm going with Dalvin Cook at running back, assuming he's healthy. If not, I'm going to have to switch it to someone else, but we'll figure that out. I'm going to go with Kareem Hunt again because I think he's going to run wild all over whoever they're playing. I just said, who's Cleveland playing? Raiders. Yeah, the Raiders have like one of the worst run defenses in the league. So I think Hunt may go crazy. Tyler Lockett scored 48 points last week on fantasy football, so I'm going with him, hoping he has another great day. Devontae Adams in Green Bay had another good week this week, so I'm going with him again. Travis Kelce was kind of quiet this week, but he had an okay week. I'm hoping he gets at least 3 touchdowns this week. I'm going to flex Kamara, and I'm going to have Sanders down in Miami as my kicker, and I'm going with the Cleveland defense because I think they may score some points.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Russ, Kamara. I don't think I'm scared to even watch, that game coming up soon against the Bears.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry, like we said, I think he's going to run all wild. I'll steal some of your guys. I got Devontae Adams also. I'm going to pick the correct Seattle wide receiver. I'm going to go DK Train. I'm going to steal your tight end, Kelce. I don't really like any of the other tight end matchups this week.
No.
My flex, because I'm tired of winning, so I'm going to throw you a bone. I'm going to go Mike Davis. My kicker is Harrison Butker. And then, my defense is Kansas City. They might cover that 19.5 with just their defense.
Yeah, I have a feeling I'll be kicking myself square in the butt for not picking Kansas City. I was like, I'll probably pick Kansas City. I'm like, no, Cleveland has a good matchup. I think I'll pick them. They're probably going to give up, 500 yards and 40 points this week. That's just the way it works. All right, everyone. Well, another very eventful week in the NFL. On top of all the injuries that keep piling up, we also have more and more COVID tests. We forgot to mention the Las Vegas Raiders. At one point, we're not going to have their offensive line play this week because all 5 of them were under COVID quarantining because one of them had it, and they were all around each other. I think they got it all. I think 4 out of the 5 got into the game because they passed protocol and were cleared. But how crazy would that have been to have the Las Vegas Raiders, backups and practice squad players, starting in an NFL game against Tampa Bay? That would have been a nightmare for them.
That'd just be the Bears' offensive line. So.
Yeah, pretty much. You're not wrong on that one. All right, well, everyone, enjoy your week this week. Enjoy the games. Go Bears. Don't forget to click like and subscribe to our channel. You can find us on Facebook at BJ's Fantasy Corner. You can find us on Twitter at BJ's Fantasy Corner. I'm still waiting for our endorsement deal from the hot sauce guy.
I'm telling you.
Is it coming in the mail? I don't know.
I'm telling you.
I would love to get him on and talk about some hot sauce. So we'll see what happens here. But everyone stay safe, stay healthy, wear a mask. Everyone wear a mask. And we'll see you next time on the corner, guys. Have a good night.
He's connected with 6 different receivers, and this time he lost one.
And Metcalf just refused to let it go. It was unbelievable how much ground he made up. That had to be 10 yards on a very fast Budda Baker, and he just tracked him down.